Hola, good evening, good welcome. Good welcome. What kind of English is that? Hello, how you doing? Monday, History Monday. Gonna be playing some Lamplight City. I think I'm gonna turn that off though. That music was a bit loud. Let's let Lamplight play. A bit better. It's been a while since I played this, a couple of weeks I think. I was due to play it yesterday, but I was 3D printing a model and it picks up really badly, so audio quality is everything, they say, and I may not have the best, but trust me, with the printer going, it's fucking awful. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? I've gone to the wrong one. This one, thank you very much. Right, I do have a save game. That's right, I need to elect someone.
Excuse me.
Yes, how may I help you?
Could you remind me what the candidates stand for?
You mean to tell me you've come to vote without knowing who to vote for?
Correct.
No, I just had a lot on my mind.
Well, if you need a basic breakdown of each candidate's platform, there are some pamphlets on the table over there. Feel free to browse them at your leisure.
Right. Thank you.
What I didn't understand, and probably still don't understand, is what this has to do with the story. I'm a detective, and I was solving some mysteries, and now suddenly I have to vote.
Where is everybody?
I'm not sure. I was told to expect large crowds, but so far we haven't had more than about 50 people in here. The polls have only been open for a couple of hours, though. I imagine things will pick up around 8 o'clock.
Or it could just be that everyone has come to their senses and isn't wasting their time.
I'll just go cast my ballot then.
Very good, Mr. Fordham.
Right, let's have a quick read of
At
these
least
then.
you're already registered to vote. Having to go through that bureaucratic nightmare tonight would have just added insult to injury. An ad for a brothel. At least they seem to know their audience.
Cool.
I thought they were trying to encourage people to vote. With all these rules, it's a wonder anyone bothers.
What's this
A
registration
list
book?
of fools who think their opinion will actually make a difference.
I'm guessing that the whole point of this voting malarkey is maybe it'll dictate what one of my next upcoming mysteries will be. Didn't think of that. To re-elect Herbert Atwood, citizens of New Britain. No, a vote for Atwood is a vote for progress. The truth of the matter is that STEAM technology is a necessity in our modern lives. Prime Minister Atwood vows to fund etheric research and build a better, prosperous future for Vespuccia and its people. Don't be fooled by the lies and confusion of the ignorant masses. Bring Vespuccia into the future. Alright. Leroy! Citizens of New Britain. Do you want to be replaced by a machine? Have you or someone you love been injured or killed by steam tech? Is it hard to understand how anyone could fall for the ethericity lie? Then vote Hart Leroy. Well, it's probably Hart Leroy. The man of the people. We find ourselves at a crossroads. Politicians and con artists are trying to play you for a fool. The true future of Vespuccia lies in the sweat of its workers. Don't fall for the lies and flights of fancy. Steam tech is not the solution. Hart Leroy will ensure that jobs are kept and strive to create even more of them. Keep your head out of the clouds and your feet on the ground. Vote Leroy. Okay. So I guess then I have to decide which one to vote for. I know which one I'm going to vote for. Herbert Atwood. Steam tech. Gotta get some steam tech.
Well, that's taken care of. Thankfully, the Angel isn't a polling place, so we can still have a nice quiet evening.
Achievement unlocked. Civic duty. I've done my civic duty. Oh, that's right. I went to sleep at
What?
at that associate's place
My head is
because
pounding.
the wife kicked
Damn
me out.
withdrawal.
Actually, I think someone's knocking at the door.
Oh, right.
Better get my jacket on just to go to the door. I guess it's the front door.
Therein lies Upton's boudoir.
Oh.
As a matter of respect, the less said the better, I think.
Fair enough. Let's go answer the door. Oh, let's check the newspaper. Hey, Count. Long time no see. You might not be around long, but I was wondering if you played Return of the Obra Dinn. I haven't. Taking the Chris. Your name rings a bell. Got to be a while. Did you change it from something? Anyway, no, I haven't played Obra Dinn. Hello, welcome, enjoy. It's one of those things where it's that first-person black and white game, isn't it? And I'm not sure if I really fancied it. I mean, I might get around to it eventually. Don't get me wrong. I haven't played it so far. Right, Hart Leroy continues election celebration because I voted for him. Justice Killer strikes again. Class action suit filed against Royal Maverick. Oh, came from a Kazi raid. Right, now I know where I know the name. Welcome on in again. It's nice to see some returning faces. Right, class action lawsuit, etc., etc. Oh, that's very kind of you. You didn't have to do that. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Good
Man in a
afternoon,
top
miss.
hat.
If you're looking for Miss Upton, I'm afraid she's not in right now.
No, I've already spoken with Miss Upton. I'm looking for Mr. Miles Fordham.
Oh, I
Who's
see.
this person?
Well, I'm Miles Fordham. What can I do for you, Miss?
Mrs. Emily Morgan. I have a problem, you see. Miss Upton said you'd be able to help.
I do solve
I
crime
suppose you'd better come in.
occasionally. Oh, she looks like
So, what seems to be the trouble?
vagrant a
It's
little
my
bit.
brother, Ronan Lespay. He was murdered 4 nights ago outside a tavern in the Chum.
4 nights ago on election night.
On election night?
Yes, I suppose it was.
Could you please tell me what happened?
The
He
police
was
took his body
murdered.
to the
Moided?
mortuary and investigated the crime
He
scene,
was
but
moided.
they're out of ideas. I've been down there at the station every day, but they
You got
don't
a
seem to
funky
care enough to
skull.
look
You got
into it any
A
further.
funky skull,
All
yeah.
they've
It's
been
supposed
able
to be my
determine was that
quizzitive
it wasn't a
skull.
robbery.
I really
that the
need
clothes he
to.
was wearing weren't his.
Those were-
My brother was a
I
good
really
man,
need to
Mr.
change my
Fordham.
emotes because
He
they
would
don't
never
fit the
willingly
channel
gone to that
anymore.
part of town. I need to know why
I'm not
he
very
was
good at
murdered,
drawing.
and I want whoever did it to pay for it.
Very well, Mrs. Morgan. I'll take your case.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fordham.
I just need to know where your brother was killed and where I might be able to contact you.
He was found outside the Silent Raven.
Silent
It's on
Raven.
Alewife Avenue, on the west side of the Chum. Here, take this. It's a photo of Ronan. It might help your investigation.
Knowing what the deceased looks like would indeed
And
help.
if you need to speak with me, you can come to my husband's bakery. It's here in Worcester, at 15 Drummond Street.
Very good. I'll begin my investigation right away.
Thank you again, Mr. Fordham. You
There's
have no idea how
People
much
knock on
this
his
means to
door
me.
now, offering him cases. For an ex-copper, he's quite the popular
Well, this
detective.
case has our names written all over it. Maybe it'll be good practice for finding the man who caused my death, eh?
Yeah, I caused your death? Alright, let's have a look. Do I have a picture of said photograph is of a young man, a young, unremarkable looking man. But I don't actually have the picture. Odd. Is there anything in the news about a killer? Could be this one. The latest victim of the serial murderer is Burley Cause of Chumley. Cause was discovered in his apartment, killed by a single gunshot wound to the head. His neighbour Ethel Williamson reported a domestic dispute in which she heard the gunshot. Police arrived at the scene and found Cause, along with the word "justice" written in blood on the wall of his parlour. The Gazette has learned that each of the men found murdered previously in Chumley were found in the exact same situation, contradicting the police department's previous statements that the murders were unrelated. Due to the murderer's unusual displays at each crime scene, he has earned the name justice killer. As of this writing, there has been no established link between the victims or in this story as it develops. Could be that guy. Very easy to find out. Ronan Lespay was found murdered in a park town he never went to in clothes that weren't his. He leading a double life. Okay. It wasn't him that's mentioned in the paper.
Should have listened to your mother. You should have practiced.
Now, I think I get an achievement for
What a handsome
investigating
couple.
all the paintings.
Judging by the uncanny resemblance, I'd say these are Upton's parents.
I'm going to do that
Not
in
a very
every room.
inspiring piece. Hell, I could probably paint it better.
One here.
A
These
lady
two?
silhouette. Pretty sure it just means the artist wasn't talented enough to draw her for real. Some fool in a hat. I never understood the appeal of silhouette portraits.
That's how my point and click adventure is going to be painted, I'm sure of it. Silhouettes, because I'm not very good.
Mostly cookbooks. Yeah, at least you won't have to worry about starving while you're staying here.
Right, let's go investigate what we do. So that's where he died, and this is where I can speak to the woman. Let's go check out the scene first. Quite obvious where he died. Right here.
To think, in an instant, a man's life can be reduced to some scribbles on the filthy pavement.
Now's not the time to get poetic, Bill.
Okay, and that was it. We've got some broken bottles.
What a mess. These advertisements are all at least 10 years out of date.
Okay.
An
That
ad for
one.
whiskey. Or perhaps paint thinner. Sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference.
There's nothing else around here other than the outline, right?
To think, in an instant, a man's life can be reduced to some scribbles on the filthy pavement.
Now's not the time to get poetic, Bill.
Broken bottles, got the posters, exit. Okay.
I suppose you could do worse, as far as bar names go. Your mascot seems to be a raven with a glowing red eye. Is that meant to attract customers or to scare them off?
No, but it is a link back to not resonance, Shardlight. Aha. Nice nod there to the previous game.
My, this grog shop looks pretty rough, even by chum standards. Best keep a low profile while you're in here, Miles. Doesn't look like cleaning up is high on the list of priorities around here.
Have a look at everything. Pictures? No. Kegs.
Looks like that's where they keep the good stuff. Of course, around here, good is an extremely relative term.
Good stuff, eh? I can't talk to him. Maybe I can talk to the barmaid.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
Let's not go straight for the murder. Let's talk to her about election night in general.
Are you working on election night?
Pal, I'm here most every night.
So that's a yes, then?
Christ on a cracker, you ain't too bright, are ya? Yes, I was here on election night.
There's no need to be rude about it, madam.
Ooh, there's no need to be rude about it. Okay, so let's ask about the
Any
election.
thoughts on the election?
Nah, couldn't care less, really. Doesn't matter who's in charge. My life ain't getting any better.
But it can certainly get worse with Leroy in office.
We'll see.
Ask her about herself.
Have
Why
you
not?
worked here long?
13 years.
I see. Anything else you can tell me about yourself?
I ain't the friendly type.
Right. Understood.
Yeah, I got that. What about the bar
What can
itself?
you tell me about this place?
It's a bar. People come here to drink. Sometimes people drink too much, and then they're sick all over.
Nice.
I get the honor of cleaning up the mess.
Sounds like you're not too pleased with your job.
I never said that. There may be rough days, but there's a lot worse I could be doing. Here, I get a place to sleep and a bit to eat and a few coins in my pocket if the customers are pleased. And you are pleased, ain't you, sir?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course I am.
Good.
I'll be more pleased when you tell me about the murder.
Tell me what you know about the murder that took place outside on election night.
Listen, chum, do you know how busy we were that night?
Oh no,
This
I
was a
don't. That's why I'm
polling place.
asking.
We had gents coming in and out for hours, not to mention the regular clientele. I was up to my ass in drink orders and was running the shift all by myself.
So they had
Had to break up
a
God
polling
knows how many
station
fights,
at a
too.
bar.
So you'll excuse me if I didn't exactly notice something that happened
That's
out on the
interesting.
street.
Did you at least hear the gunshot?
Yeah, I've never seen Aintia
No,
spelled
I
that
didn't.
way either.
Try distinguishing a gunshot over a room full of rowdy voters. It ain't gonna happen.
That's certainly an interesting spelling, but I got the idea.
You mentioned regular clientele. Who are they?
Oh, we get plenty of regulars in here. Too many to name.
Which of them were here on election night?
Let me think. I remember seeing 3 of the usual crowd. There was Darius, up to no good as always.
Right.
Then there was Singin' Tom, but he wasn't around for too long. And how could I forget old Cormac? He'd have talked my ear off if I'd let him.
Sound like an interesting bunch of folks.
And did you let him? Let's ask
You know a
about
man named
Ronan.
Ronan Lespay?
Nah, never heard of him.
He was killed
Show
here
him
4
the
nights ago.
Show her the
The
picture.
man in this ferrotype.
Oh, that one. Well, I never saw him before that night, and I didn't talk to him. You with the police or something?
No, not at all.
You get the feeling the devs
trying to
wrote
help
the
his
text
sister
to
find out
imply
what
an
happened.
accent
So
that
are
the
you done with
voiceover
the
just did.
questions? Can
Maybe.
I get you a drink or what?
Yeah, she's a shrewd businesswoman.
It's
You at least
entirely
have to give
possible.
her that.
Yeah, right. So she recognizes the picture, but he hasn't been in before. Let's ask about the regulars and the landlord.
Tell me about Cormac.
Hey now, bucko. You've come in here asking me all these questions, but I ain't seen nothing from you. You want more information? You're gonna have to earn it.
Right. Give me a gin then.
Coming right up.
Don't get carried away now, Miles.
I'm gonna get
There you
shit-faced
are.
while I'm asking
1
questions.
gin. That'll be 2 shillings.
There's 3. Now then, about Cormac.
He's in here most every night. Doesn't speak to many people, just me. And a right chatterbox he is, too. Between you and me, Cormac stinks. I can understand why he doesn't keep much company.
He stinks?
Aye, he's a sewer worker. Spends all his
Nice.
day underground in the muck, so he always reeks of shit.
I see. Any idea where
He
specifically
doesn't
works?
have a
I
shower or
believe
anything
he's at the
before he
treatment
goes for a
station
drink.
Over near the ferry terminal.
If this is going where I think it is, then I'm especially glad I can't smell anything anymore.
Okay, so that's Cormac. I'm sure we need to check him out at some point. Let's
Who is Singing Tom?
talk about
Ah,
Singing Tom.
Not sure what his surname is, but he's in here about twice a week. We call him Singing Tom because he leads the church choir.
Is that right? Which church?
Oh, I haven't a clue. Never really cared to ask.
Does he associate with any of the other regulars?
I've seen him talking with Darius a few times. They seem to be on friendly terms.
So Darius and Tom
What can you
know
tell me
each
about
other.
Darius?
Now that man is trouble. I've had to throw him out a few times.
Why do you say he's trouble?
His mind's affected by the poppy seed. He can be gentle as a kitten or
Druggy.
fly into a rage at a moment's notice. When he gets rowdy, he gets chucked.
I see. Any idea where I might be able to find him?
Don't know why you'd want to find him, but I hear he spends his day at a smokehouse nearby. I believe it's on Crisparkle Lane. Just look for the door with the oriental symbols above it.
And could you describe him to me?
He's a rough-looking sort, about 55 years old, has a scar on his left cheek, grayish hair, medium build.
To
Excellent.
average.
Thank you.
Right, let's ask
Where might I find
about
the
the
landlord?
landlord.
You won't find him anywhere. He doesn't come around here more than once a month.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a rough old dame. Alright, what have we got? We've got to find Cormac at the Chumley Water Treatment Station. Find Darius at the Opium Den in Chumley. Darius will probably be able to tell me where I can find Tom, because they're friends. I have no suspect or anything as yet. So, out we go. And back out to the map. opium den. Let's do that one first. Speak to Darius.
I wonder how many layers of advertisements you'd have to cut through before getting to the wall. Crisparkle Lane. Nothing crisp or sparkly about it.
Nothing else other than the sign in the door.
I can't make heads or tails of it, but I'll bet you 10 crowns it doesn't say welcome.
Right, let's go into the opium den. If they'll let me in.
What do you want?
May I please come in?
Might I come in, please?
This is private property, and I don't know you, so no.
I'm looking for a man named Darius. I believe he may be inside.
Yeah, I don't know anybody with that name. So if that's all you wanted, get lost.
Or is it a good idea to tell him I'm here as a private investigator? I don't think it is. I think that's probably a very dangerous thing to do. So let's do it.
My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I demand you let me in the name of the law.
The law? Is this your idea of a joke?
No, as I said, I'm a private investigator.
Then I really don't have to let you in. You've bothered me enough. Get out of here!
Something tells me we won't be getting in there
Right.
anytime soon.
That didn't work. I guess we'll go see the other person. Go see Cormac at the stinky water treatment station.
So this is what it's come to, eh? Braving the stench of human waste in hopes of finding a lead? Just make sure you stay away from the edge.
Rowdy
Handy to know
Street.
where you are. But why would anyone actually travel around the city this way? Some sort of water treatment device would be my guess. For all I know, it could just be a fancy boiler for tea. I hope
Thanks.
those aren't full of what I think.
Shite.
Another mysterious machine. Who knew dealing with human waste involved so much technology? Another mysterious device. I was happier not knowing all this went on after I used the commode. While you could use a bath, I don't think this is the right place to take a dip.
No, it's probably shitty water. Right, let's talk to this sewer worker.
Begging
If
your pardon,
this guy
sir.
is Cormac.
What? Who are you? What are you doing down here?
My name's Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a sewer worker by the name of Cormac.
We needn't look no further. But what is this about?
I just have a few questions for you.
All right. Cormac will answer them. But don't
Oh,
dally
he
for
talks
too
about
long.
himself in the
It can be
third person.
dangerous down here for anyone who's not trained as Cormac is.
You know what that means? That means he's evil.
Do you have any opinions regarding the election?
Cormac hears lots of things about Atwood, but he's the one what's got this new machinery put into the sewer system. There's still a job for Cormac, so all that talk about being replaced by machines is just talk, for now. But Leroy says he wants to give the workers their fair chance, so Cormac can't argue with that. What about you?
I would have preferred Atwood stay in office myself.
No, it's God.
Bah,
Oh.
they's all the same in the end. One way or another. No point worrying, says old Cormac.
Yeah, it got me in the end. Ask about himself.
Is it difficult being a sewer worker?
Difficult? Nah, it's a dream. Especially since they introduced all these steam tech treatments and purification whatsits. The only thing Cormac's got to do is check the little dial never goes into the red on old Belinda.
Belinda?
Aye, the purifier.
Call
She's
her
a real
Belinda.
special lady who's made Cormac's life so much brighter. Cormac makes sure to thank her each and every day.
Wonderful. We're talking to a lunatic.
An
Wasn't so
evil
easy a few
lunatic.
years ago. Back then it was tapping on pipes all day
Tapping on pipes?
to make sure they was flowing fine and not blocked. Cormac would take his little hammer and tap, tap, tap on the pipes to make sure they was ringing fine. You can imagine what that was like. Tap, tap, tap. Ring, ring, ring. All day, up and down, over and over. The tapping stopped, but the ringing never left. Still hears it to this day, Cormac
I think he's
does.
losing his mind just a little bit.
Do you frequent a pub called the Silent Raven?
Yes. The Raven is where Cormac goes to forget about the day's work. The barmaid, Nicole, she's a good sort. We likes talking about the ponies down at the track. Nikki loves her some racing. She gives Cormac drinks for cheap in exchange for odd jobs. Nice to have your own personal sewer man, I suppose. She's really the only one Cormac talks to. There's a few others Cormac sees often, but Cormac hasn't spoken with them.
Cripes. This guy goes on, doesn't he?
He is
To
a
be
bit of
fair,
a chatterbox.
You
Yeah.
weren't warned.
Right, let's ask about Ronan.
You know a man named Ronan Lespay?
Cormac knows few men. People don't much like talking to a man who spends his days in the sewers. Can't really blame him for it.
No.
It's hard to get a stink off.
Would you?
So why
Would you
bother even
spend
trying?
a lot of time with a
You
man
didn't
who
answer my question, though.
works with
Do you
shit?
know Ronan Lespay or not?
Could you describe him? Cormac's got a better memory for faces than for names.
Oh, I can
I
do
have his
better than
portrait.
that. Here's a
Here,
picture.
have a look.
Ah, yes. Cormac saw this fellow recently.
On election night?
That's right. He come into the bar, voted, went out. Looked drunk to Cormac, but then everyone at that place usually is.
Drinking, eh?
Do you know anything about the murder that took place outside the Silent Raven on election night?
Murder? Ah, yes. The commotion out in the alleyway.
That's right. Did you see or hear anything?
It was a touch noisy that night, what with all the election stuff happening, but Cormac remembers the sound of the gun. One shot,
Very wordy,
and then
this guy.
shouting and
Gotta let him
hollering from the
finish.
bar. A few people run outside to look at what happened, but Cormac just stayed in his seat and finished his whiskey.
So you didn't see the man who was shot, or who shot him?
No, keeps to himself, Cormac does. Makes life easier that way.
Could he be any more unhelpful? Actually, it's probably best not to find out.
About himself
let
in
you
the
return to
third
your work.
person. That
Be
always.
mindful on your way out.
Anyone who talks about themselves in the third person is either so up themselves or they're not all there. Okay, so I don't think that we got any extra clues. I've still got to get to Darius, but I can't get in. So we'll go have a word with the young lady at the bakery.
All right, Mr. Chavez. The cake and muffins come to a total of 3 shillings, 10 coppers.
There you are, Mrs. Morgan. And thank you again. Barbara is going to love this.
Talk about yourself in the third
My
person.
pleasure.
You're either
Enjoy.
evil or a theatre kid.
Pardon me, sir.
Yeah. I'll go with that. Chris, that works.
I'm sure Barbara will enjoy them, the cow.
Ah, Mr. Fordham, welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Morgan.
Right, let's first have a look at all the lovely
Those
cakes.
look nice, but given the choice,
Nom, nom, nom,
I'll
nom.
always side with pie over cake.
That's a good question, actually.
The
Pie
bunch
or
of assorted
cake?
baking products. Don't waste
They
your
each
time
have
with
their
those,
own-
Miles. We've got a murder to solve.
Own place and time.
Well, I never had much of a sweet tooth, but even I'd consider buying some of this stuff. You know, if I was still alive. Minor detail, I know.
He's always rubbing in the fact that I killed him.
A very wise man once told me, never go poking around the back rooms of bakeries. I think you do well to heed that advice.
Yeah, because you don't know what we do with the dough.
The stuff in that day-old box doesn't look half bad. More like 3/4 bad.
Have you got time for a few more questions, Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let's ask about Ronan again.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Ronan was the best brother anyone could have asked for. He took care of me after our parents died. Carriage accident. I was only 9 and he was 13. Ronan went out and found work and managed to support the both of us. He was just a child himself, but he kept us out of the gutter. Or worse, the workhouse.
How did you hear of his death?
Ronan comes by to visit me every day after he finishes work. When he didn't come for 2 days in a row, I got worried. I went to his apartment,
was thinking
but
in my
he
head
wasn't
that
there.
he
So
comes
I made
round
a
every day
report to the
after work.
police. Yesterday,
How did
they
you know he got murdered?
contacted
Because
me
he comes round
and
every
asked me
day.
to
Told
come to
me.
the mortuary.
That's what went through my
I'm
head.
terribly sorry for your loss, Mrs. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Obviously,
Please,
that's not what she
find
said.
whoever did this to him. Ronan deserved so much better.
Right. So let's just go through the motions, ask about the
What are your thoughts on
election,
the outcome of the
herself,
election?
etc.
Oh, I haven't given it much thought, to be honest. It hardly seems to matter now.
Yes, of course. My apologies
All
for
right,
bringing
thanks,
it up.
love. I'm off to be murdered now. Exactly that. All right, sis, how's it going? Just gonna go get myself killed after having a drink or two?
So, this is your bakery.
My husband Gerald and I have had it for almost 10 years.
Is it just the two of you? Do you have any children?
Alas, no. Some extra hands would be most welcome in the kitchen, but we haven't yet been blessed. It's such a shame that Ronan never got to be an uncle.
Where does
Can you
Ronan
give me the
live?
address of Ronan's apartment?
It's at 1172 Bushmill Street. I have a spare key.
That would be most helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Got a key.
What sort of life did Ronan lead?
You know, just normal. He'd go to work, come visit me afterwards, and go home. He didn't have much of a social life. At least he never mentioned any
It
friends
sounds
to me.
kind of boring.
I always hoped Ronan would meet a nice girl to settle down with, but he was so shy, you know?
Where did Ronan work?
At the Grips Home Taxidermy Shop in Gascone. I always thought it was rather macabre work, but he enjoyed it. Bit lonely, though.
The taxidermist. One of his customers got their revenge.
What do you know about your brother's murder?
Only what the police told me. He was shot at close range outside that pub in the Chum. Nothing was missing, and his wallet had money in it, so they said it wasn't a robbery. I didn't recognize the clothes he was wearing. I had never
You're
seen
off to
them
get
before,
murdered.
and they
You
were
want another
far
one
too
for the
big for
road.
him.
No thanks, I'm looking to be
I still
killed.
can't believe he's
Not
gone.
do my head in.
He was the only family I had left.
Dr. Edwards at the mortuary might be able
That's
to give us some more
true.
detailed
Funny.
information. The only thing we'll get out of this one is more tears.
I think I've got what I need from
Those
her.
are all the questions I have for now.
All right, Mr. Fordham.
Right, what have we got? So find Darius, still got to do that. Search Roman's apartment for clues. Investigate the Grips Home taxidermy shop. Speak to Dr. Edwards about the murder. Okay, so that'll give us some more locations to get to. A lot of. Well, guess we'll check out his apartment first. Oh my word!
Quite the collection of exotic items in here. Ronan
Why?
appears to be a seasoned world traveler.
Or at least knows someone who is.
Quite the collection, definitely.
Just looking at this painting is making me feel seasick. This
Do
mask looks
let's
African.
do the looking.
You should
first.
try it on. It'd be an improvement. This one is scarier than the other masks. Wait a moment. I think I saw something shiny in the back of the mouth.
Well, let's check that out then.
How about that? A perfect hiding place for a key.
I bet it's a key for this.
Some kind of owl mask. The hair looks incredibly familiar. Ronan's book collection mostly consists of cheap pulp adventure novels, but this top shelf looks interesting.
Top shelf is always interesting. We've got exotic fauna of Africa, exotic fauna of Australia, secret customs of the Orient, Ishbel, and an unmarked book.
No title, and it appears to be blank. I wonder if Ronan just kept empty books on his shelf to appear well read. It's in another language, but it appears to be a Bible.
Okay. Secret customs. You must be aware, dear reader, that the customs of the Orient differ greatly. I'm not going to read all of this. If there's anything important in here, it will tell me when I click on it. A kangaroo, a strange cross between a rabbit and a donkey. Donkey? I've never thought of a kangaroo as being a cross between a donkey and a rabbit. What part of it looks like a fucking donkey? The way it punches with its back legs? I mean, what? Okay, koalas may appear at first glance to be small bears, but are in fact marsupials, like the kangaroo. Baby koalas spend their first few years inside their mother's pouch. Koalas. You know what? I think a rabbit and a deer, if anything. Yeah, I don't. The facial features doesn't remind me of a donkey. Donkeys certainly don't have arms. Still. Ah, right. Achievement unlocked. Black rhinoceros. An adult black rhinoceros stands blah 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 Elephant. Okay, nothing. Nothing else here then. I've done this bit. Right, let's have a
Ronan
look
wasn't
at
too
the bed.
concerned with comfort, apparently. This is hardly bigger than a bunk at sea.
Okay, hardly bigger than a
I had
bunk.
an illustration that looked similar to that one. I wonder where it ended up.
In the bin.
I guess Ronan won't be realizing his world travel dreams now. Death really has a way of messing up your plans.
Tell me about it. Right, I think I have the key to
Now
this.
to find out what Mr. Lespay finds so precious.
Something went there.
This one appears to be from Emily.
Well, read it then. Who's Emily? Ronan. Gerald and I will be celebrating the new year, and I would like to invite you to spend it with us. Oh, it's his sister. Please feel free to bring along any guests you'd like, especially any lady friends you might have. All my love, Emily.
They appear to be a pair of letters from Ronan's landlord.
So which one is the first one? This one. Ronan, with regard to your request for an extension to pay this month's rent, I'll gladly give you until next month. You've always been a reliable tenant who's paid on time, so don't be concerned. I hope you resolve your issues. Danforth. Ronan, I understand we all go through financial difficulties. I'm afraid I can't extend my generosity beyond the end of 2 months. Please have the ready by then, or I will have no choice but to seek legal action against you. Well, that escalated fast.
Ooh, this teacup could use a washing. I'd be surprised if it isn't permanently stuck to the desk.
I'll try and move it then.
Looks like you found Ronan's journal. Perhaps this will be able to give us some more insight into what he was up to before he died.
Right, read a random entry. Okay.
Let's see. March 11th, 1844.
I would
must have
suggest
eaten
reading the
something
most
last night which
recent
didn't
entry,
agree
not
with
a
me
random
because
one.
I've had a terrible case of the runs.
Probably best to skip this one.
Agreed. October 21st, 1843. The air is growing cold and is reminding me that I need to purchase a new pair of boots for the winter. I don't think this entry will be of much interest.
But rather than reading random ones, go to the last entry.
October 21st, 1843. The
Or
air is
am I
growing
just
cold
being daft?
and is reminding me that I need to purchase a new pair of boots for the winter. I don't think this entry will be of much interest.
Stop going to a random
November
one.
9th, 1843. I have an uneasy feeling of dread today. Last night I had a frightening dream where fire rained from the sky and people were afflicted with an awful disease. I'm just going to focus on my work today. Perhaps the feeling will pass. June 17th, 1843. Someone brought in a rare big-eared hopping mouse from Australia yesterday. Stuffing it was quite a challenge as the
You mean a
organs were
kangaroo?
difficult to remove without damaging the body. I think I'd rather not read about Ronan's taxidermy process any further. March 11th, 1844.
Probably best to skip.
Don't want to
Agreed.
read about his runs.
November 9th, 18... Last night I had a... I'm just going to focus...
It's the same.
February 24th, 1844. Jimbo has been at sea for nearly 2 months. These long periods away are the most difficult.
Who's Jimbo?
But all the time seems to disappear when I see him again. My solace is that he will return with plenty of tales of adventure. I can hardly wait to hear them.
Okay, so Jimbo sounds like a boyfriend.
March 11th, 1844. I must...
Probably best to skip.
Agreed. November 9th, 18...
Yeah, know this. Come on.
March 11th, 1844.
Probably
Agreed. October 21st, 18...
I think we've gone through
October
them all
21st.
now.
I don't think... June 17th, 18... Stuff... March 11th, 18...
Probably.
Agreed.
Yeah, leave the journal. Not enough
A model
info.
of the SS Joondalup. Looks like a merchant vessel to me.
Does it now? How would you know what a merchant vessel looks like? Let's have a look at the drawers.
It's empty. Too bad.
Aha!
Aha. A letter from someone called Jimbo?
Ronan, next week will be a year since we met. I can honestly say my life has changed for the better in every possible way and I will always hold July 8th as a special day in my heart. I can't wait to see you again, Jimbo. Read the entry from July 8th.
There are 2 entries, one from this year and one from last.
So, start with last year's.
July 8th, 1843. I've decided I need to get out more, so I'm going to a club in Gascon tonight. Stuffing animals has taken its toll, and I need to talk to someone who isn't Emily or my coworkers. Gerald told me about a place called the Crimson Cat. I'll try it, and if I don't enjoy myself, I'll just come home. Now for
Fair
this
enough.
year's entry. July 8th, 1844. Today is our 1-year anniversary. We're going to meet at the Cat again. I love him, but I wish he wasn't so attached to that place. Emily is so nosy, I worry that she might follow me and discover the truth about Jimbo.
Okay,
If
we're
we
going
moved
to be
around, I
needing
wouldn't
to
worry,
go to the
but with
Crimson
him, it's
Cat.
always the Crimson Cat. I really shouldn't complain, though. What we have is something truly special.
Well, it seems that our best hope of finding this Jimbo character is to visit the Crimson Cat.
The cat is where we are going. There's the Crimson Cat. So we've done the bakery. Why do we need to go to the police station? We need to talk to the doctor. Yeah.
I was beginning to wonder when you'd show up.
Well, wonder no longer. I'm here and I need to see Dr. Edwards.
Oh, I see how it is. He helped you solve a case, and now you don't have time for us lowly front desk clerks.
That's just the way it goes, Upton. Maybe next time you should pick a nicer coffee house.
Right. You know the way. Snelling isn't in today, so you're all clear.
Well, that's a relief. Thanks, Upton.
Doctor's this way. See what information we can find out about the murder, about the body, maybe. Hey, Doc.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, Edwards.
Ah, Fordham. Always a pleasure.
Have you got time for some questions?
Of course.
I would like to ask about Ronan Lespay.
So what can you tell me about Ronan Lespay?
Caucasian male, approximately 27 years old. Died of blood loss as a result of being shot at close range. He was brought in 4 nights ago. I performed the postmortem the following day. After that, his next of kin was contacted. I believe his sister came to identify the body.
Any personal opinions on what might have happened?
He was shot
Well,
at
the
close
fact he was
range.
shot at such a close range would suggest it was done by someone he knew. And robbery doesn't appear to be a motive, since his wallet was found on the body with money in it. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine.
Better, I hope.
Did the postmortem reveal anything?
Quite a few things, actually.
Like a bullet?
Mr. Lespay was extremely inebriated when the shooting took place. There was enough alcohol in his blood to presume he had been drinking for hours before his death.
He was pissed.
I also managed to remove the bullet from his heart. It's a 36 caliber lead ball, standard revolver shot. It shouldn't be too hard to match to a weapon, provided you can find it.
What about his clothes?
Did you notice anything unusual about the clothes Mr. Lespay was wearing?
Unusual? Not really. They seemed a bit big for him, but that's all.
His sister seemed convinced that they didn't belong to him.
That's a distinct possibility, but I couldn't say for sure. He could have just been a sloppy dresser.
So no murder weapons been found?
That's right. Either the killer still has it, or the police just overlooked it. If you happen across any weapons in your investigation, be sure to bring them to me. I can tell you if it matches the bullet.
Thank you, Edwards. I'll be on the lookout.
For 36, right? Let's
What
ask
are your
him
thoughts
about
on
the
the
election.
election?
There was an election?
Not that I don't think it actually matters.
I think our friend Edwards needs to get out a bit more.
How's the coroner business?
Things have been pretty dead around here lately.
Oh,
Don't quit your day job, Edwards.
coroner jokes.
I'll be going now, Edwards.
Take care, Fordham. And remember, not everyone gets to leave the morgue alive, so consider yourself lucky that you can.
I think you'll find a lot of people leave alive. It's just some of them arrive dead, maybe? I don't know. I don't suppose she's got anything worthwhile
Can we
to
talk for a moment, Upton?
say.
Certainly. What's on your mind?
But worth chatting anyway.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about Ronan Lespay, would you?
Probably nothing more than you already know. His body is in the mortuary, and the reason for his murder is unknown. I suggest you speak with Dr. Edwards.
Did that.
That was one hell of an election, wasn't it?
That it was. I don't know how he managed it, but I'm glad Leroy won.
I can't say I agree, but I'm not really surprised. Leroy may have started as something of a dark horse, but his campaign had been gaining a lot of steam
Upton
leading up
won.
to the election.
Not Upton.
Pun
Atwood.
not intended.
Yes, well, it's the Steam Tech issue that clinched it. When something like the Ligeia happens, people start to wake up and wonder if we really want
Maybe I
contraptions like that in our
misread
lives.
the newspaper.
You have to admit, he was playing up on people's fears. Not exactly the most honorable way of getting into office.
Fordham, since when have politics ever been honorable?
Ain't
How are
that the
things with
truth?
you?
Better than last week, but plenty of feathers still ruffled around here.
What happened?
You have to ask. Snelling was not happy with you turning up at the Latham crime scene. He was a right inquisition around here. Snelling going around to interrogate everyone, trying to ferret out a leak.
So he suspects.
I'm afraid so. I managed to calm him down some and divert suspicion. He thinks someone on the force is speaking to the Gazette, not to you directly.
Well, that's some kind of relief. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Oh, don't worry about me. Well, maybe worry about me a little.
Right. I don't want to review the case.
I'll let you get back to work.
And you'd better do the same.
We're looking for a gun, I think. Is that what it updated the casebook with? Find Jimbo at the Crimson Cat. Speak to Edwards. I still have... No, I've got the letters. I've got no suspects. Clues. Post-mortem result. 36 caliber pistol. And he was pissed as a fart. Right, let's check out his taxidermy shop.
Hello and welcome to the Gripsom Taxidermy Shop. Please let me know if I can be of service.
Is that supposed to be a lion?
Really bad. For taxidermy.
I wonder how many people it took to bring down this brute. There's a small button on the base.
Press the button.
Just when I thought I'd seen it all. What will they think of next?
Okay.
Reminds me of the one in the Dupre house, except that one actually looked alive. There's a small button on the base.
Oh, press the button.
Welcome to the Gripsom Taxidermy Shop. Please enjoy our displays and be sure to consider us for all your taxidermy needs. Just a reminder, we stuff animals only.
I don't have any taxidermy needs right now.
That leads into a room with even more dead things. It's such a shame we haven't the time to stick around and explore. Exotic dead fauna from every other continent. You never even need to leave Vespuccia. Exotic dead...
You're gonna head out. It's nice listening to you. Have a lovely voice. Ooh, do I now? Well, thanks for stopping by, Chris. Enjoy, and have a good day. And I'll see you again soon, I hope. Let's talk to the clerk.
I was wondering if you might answer some questions for me.
Of course. What can I help you with?
I want to ask you about your...
I was told Ronan Lespay works here. Do you know him?
Ronan?
Worker.
Yes, of course. That is to say,
Very
I know
pale,
he
this
works
chap.
here. I haven't had much interaction with him. He mostly keeps to himself.
Does he have an office
See you
or
later,
workspace
Chris.
I might have a look
Have
at?
fun.
Now,
Enjoy.
wait just a minute. Why would I let some random stranger off the street in to look at an employee's workspace?
Because I'm a private investigator and I'm trying to get some information.
Private investigate.
Well, even if that is the case, I'm afraid you're out of luck. Ronan does have a workspace, but it's completely bare. He doesn't keep anything here.
Does he not? How odd.
Were you aware that Ronan was murdered 4 nights ago?
I had no idea. That's awful. What happened?
That's
He was
what
murdered.
I'm currently trying to find out. Do you know if Ronan had any enemies? Anyone who might want to do him harm?
No. As I said, I didn't speak with him much, or know much about him. But now that I think about it, I did notice a strange man waiting around outside the shop a few days ago.
Strange man?
Tell me
Jimbo?
about this strange man you saw.
At the time, I didn't think much of him, but the more I recall, the more I realize he was being very suspicious.
What did he do?
He just stood outside across the street, but he seemed to be focusing on the building. It was as though he was waiting for someone.
Do you remember what this man looked like?
I didn't get a very good look at him, but I do remember some things. He
Tell
was
me.
tall and had a heavy build, like a boxer or a dock worker.
Okay.
He had a beard, I think, or mutton chops at the very least.
Right.
And as far as I can recall, he was wearing all black. He also had on some kind of cap. I'm sorry I can't give you a better description, but that's all I was able to distinguish. My eyesight isn't very good, I'm afraid.
It'll have to do. Thank you for your help.
I reckon he's describing Jimbo.
So how did you get this job?
Oh, it isn't a terribly exciting story, I'm afraid. I just saw an ad in the Gazette for a clerk position. I never expected to learn so much about taxidermy.
I'm sure he's amazing conversation at parties.
He's something at parties, that's for sure.
Any thoughts on the recent election?
I'd really rather not talk about it. I don't know how the people of this country could put someone like Hart Leroy in charge.
I know what you mean. Leroy may be a champion of the common man, but Atwood's vision for the future is more important right now.
I couldn't agree more. Leroy wants to forsake all the technological advances of the last decade and take us back to the Dark Ages. Next thing you know, he'll be bringing slavery back.
I doubt he'd go to such extremes.
Perhaps we
Never
should
know.
drop the subject. I get a bit passionate when it comes to these sorts of things.
Tell me about the
Anything you can
shop.
tell me about the shop?
Plenty! This is New Britannia's most sophisticated taxidermy shop. Unlike other taxidermists, we work with modern technology to get results they could only dream of.
What does that mean exactly?
Using steam tech, we are able to create the illusion of life in these beasts. Just take a look at our floor samples. The parrot and gorilla are two of our finest works. They really speak for themselves. Well, the parrot does at least. I think it would frighten our customers if the gorilla did too. And once ethericity is harnessed as a viable source of energy, we'll get even better results.
This guy is way too excited about bringing dead things back to life.
Yes, fascinating. Moving on. Thank you for your help.
I'm here to serve.
Okay, and you won't let me around there. So I think I'm good. Did I get any? Find Jimbo the Crimson Cat. I've spoken to Edwards about the murder, but if I can find a gun. Tall man of large build like a boxer or dock worker, had a beard or mutton chops and was dressed in all black, wore a cap. That's what we're checking for. Time to visit the Crimson Cat. What's this? That's the opium den.
Ah, the Crimson Cat. One of my favorite underground clubs. Ooh, I spent some wild nights here. Which reminds me, I wonder if Stefan is still working the bar these days.
Stefan?
This place has been around for quite some time. That well-dressed feline is Red, the official mascot. Looks like a view of Claremont Street with St. Denis Cathedral in the background. Call me old-fashioned, but I've always felt the piano should be played by an actual human. These automated ones just don't have any soul.
No, that is true, to be fair.
Seagrave's Stasholine, high-quality mustache wax. You know, I always wondered what you'd look like with a mustache. Attention customers. Use of Dr. Tennyson's figure pills while under the influence of alcohol may cause loss of consciousness. It's nice to see this establishment looking out for its patrons. Good old Bollingworth Ale. Unlike so many other things in life, it never lets you down. Well, not while you're drinking it anyway. The next morning is another story entirely. Fine beer.
Gotta
only
read
served
everything,
here.
look
Good to
at
know.
everything.
Quite the selection. It rivals even the Angel. Looks like they've got Bollingworth, Millhopper, and Brooklyn Lager. Not a bad set of beers.
That's it. We can't talk to her. Can't talk to these guys. So we talk to the sailor.
Beg your pardon. Your name wouldn't happen to be Jimbo, would it?
Yeah, Who's asking?
Miles Fordham, private investigator.
Can a guy enjoy his shore leave without being harassed by the law? I've done nothing wrong.
I didn't say you had, and I'm most certainly not the law. I just want to ask you a few questions.
All right, fine.
Mutton chops, hat, black clothes. He fits the. He fits
Do you
the
have any
description.
opinions about the recent election?
Not really. I'm usually way at sea, so I don't keep up with politics. The sea's got our own laws. Anyway, I can't vote, so it's really none of my concern.
But you're still affected by the decisions the Prime Minister makes.
Not very fair, is it, Mr. Fordham?
No, I suppose it isn't. Where does the name Jimbo come from?
It's just a nickname. My real name's James Bowgroff.
And what is it you do?
I'm a sailor. I thought you detective types were supposed to be extra observant.
Not me. This detective
Shouldn't
type's
you
a
be able
bit
to tell me what my
short-sighted.
occupation was just by looking at my fingernails or something?
Sorry to disappoint. Perceptiveness is important in my line of work, but I'm also just a man.
I think perhaps Jimbo has been reading too many of those detective stories in Brentwood.
You know Ronan Spey?
I knew him, yeah.
Knew him?
He and I haven't spoken recently.
Uh-huh.
In about a month, actually. Things didn't go so well last time.
How do you mean?
Let's just say we didn't part on the best of terms. He made it very clear that he didn't want to speak to me again.
I wonder why.
Were you aware that Ronan was murdered?
What? No, when? What happened?
He was
He
shot
was
outside
murdered.
a tavern in Chumley 4 nights ago.
Chumley? What was he doing there?
I was hoping perhaps you could tell me.
I honestly don't know. Ronan hardly went out, and he especially never crossed the river.
Why was that?
I think he was just too scared of the world to go out and see it for himself. He was happy enough reading about it in his books or collecting things I brought him back from my travels. Honestly, that's what I liked most about him. He was just an average, boring man. It was just the sort of balance I needed in my life.
That's pretty much the exact same reason I always enjoyed working with you, Miles.
Because he was just a boring man.
You and Ronan had a special relationship, didn't you?
Mr. Fordham, we're in an underground club. You don't have to tap dance around it. Yes, Ronan and I were a couple. At least up until last month.
What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
We had a misunderstanding. Ronan thought I had been seeing someone else. He was extremely jealous. I tried to explain that he had it all wrong, but he wouldn't hear me out.
Could that
I was
be
going to give him
what
some time
happened?
to cool off, but, well, that's not going to happen now, is it?
If it's any consolation, I found a letter you wrote him, which he still kept in his desk.
Damn. Thank you for telling me that.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
Something tells me we've
don't
reached
think
a
it was
dead end.
him.
You should give Mrs. Morgan the bad news.
What, that we've reached a dead end? So, I guess because of the choices I made, this murder is now unsolvable. That's shit. Bollocks. Not going to give up quite so easily.
No answer. Looks like you blew your chances with this place.
Crap, I screwed this one up, didn't I? Well, I guess I'll go report that it's unsolvable. I like this.
Have you got time for a few more questions, Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, of course.
Are you familiar with someone who goes by the name Jimbo?
No, I don't think so. Who is that?
A friend of Ronan's.
No, as I told you, I didn't know Ronan to have any friends. I especially don't recall him mentioning anyone called Jimbo.
Got some bad news for you then.
I've completed my investigation of your brother's murder, Mrs. Morgan.
You have? Oh, that's such a relief to hear. Who killed him?
I'm afraid I don't know.
What?
I had some leads, but I botched things. I wasn't able to follow through. I'm sorry.
Well, some detective you turned out to be.
Okay,
I
this
can't
is taking a
understand why
turn.
you were so highly recommended.
I Again, I'm truly sorry, Mrs. Morgan. Perhaps I can...
No, that's quite enough. I don't need you to grovel. Just go away.
Good day to you, Mrs. Morgan.
Achievement unlocked.
You know, Miles,
Dead end.
you've been coming in here a lot lately, but
I got an
you've never
achievement.
looked quite this glum. What's going on?
I've bungled things pretty badly at home. Been staying with a friend the past couple of weeks.
I see. What happened?
I haven't been honest with my wife. Coming here and drowning my sorrows hasn't really helped, oddly enough. And yet, it's all I can do to keep from going crazy.
You know, Miles, I've seen and heard a lot of things over the years. Some of the stories would turn your hair white. But through it all, I've come to learn one thing. It's usually not too late to make things better, but only if you let yourself try.
Thank you for the advice, Patrick.
All I can do is give it, Miles. Whether you choose to take it or not is entirely up to you. Now, would you like another gin?
Yes, I would.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
This time
okay,
I really
no,
do need to
no,
be on my
no,
way.
I don't. I'd try the wife.
I should go and see how my wife is doing.
I see. Well, have a good night, Miles. And good luck to you.
Let's see if she's talking to me.
Who in the ether? Miles? This is a surprise.
So, hello dearest, I've been an idiot. Hello dearest, may I come in? Hello dearest, I've decided to forgive you. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm gonna try the I've been an idiot.
Addie, it's so good to see you. I've been such an idiot lately.
Well, I'm glad you can admit to it. Would you like to come in?
Very much.
Was there something you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to see how you were doing.
You, mainly. How have you been doing?
How do you think? I haven't just been able to pick up and go back to my normal life since you left.
I didn't leave,
I
you
haven't
threw
heard
me
from you
out.
in ages. Where have you been all this time?
Upton's been letting me stay with her.
Better than sleeping under a bridge, I suppose.
Yes, although I don't know how much longer I can impose on her generosity.
Are you asking me to let you come back here?
Yes, and I think it's time I finally told you the truth.
Yes, but I know I need to earn it. That's why I'm finally going to tell you the truth.
Miles, what are you doing? You know this is a terrible idea.
The truth?
About why I've been acting the way I have been since Bill died.
Well, go on. I'm listening.
Don't do it, Miles. You know it's a one-way ticket to Riverview if you do.
Shall I tell her? I think I'm going to. I'm going to tell her. I'm telling her. I am. I'm going to tell her. I am. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm clicking it.
I've been hearing Bill's voice ever since he died.
Fordham, what is wrong with you?
His voice?
I can't believe this! You've just destroyed your life! I hope you realize that!
Yes, in my head, at all hours. That's why I was taking the soporific. It was the only way to keep him quiet. Or so I thought. Turns out that alcohol has the same effect.
What does he say to you?
The type of things he'd say when he was alive. Snarky comments, inappropriate jokes. Mainly he nags me to find the flower shop burglar. He thinks doing that will let him find peace and move on.
I see.
I told you you'd think I was crazy.
Don't be ridiculous, Miles. It's nothing like that.
I'm
It's
wondering
just,
if I
wish you had told me sooner
should have
is all.
saved the game in case I get locked up and it's game over.
Well, I'm glad you finally trusted me. You know,
Oh.
you could have all along.
So, you're all right with it?
It is quite a lot to take in. I think I'll need some time to mull it over. But what matters now is that we can work through this together.
Together.
I understand. Well, I should probably go. It was lovely to see you again, Addie.
Lovely to see you too, Miles.
Not gonna let me stay.
Perhaps I'll stop by again next week.
Or sooner, if you'd like.
Sure. Like the men in white coats aren't gonna have you taken away by then.
Right. I'll see myself out then.
Good night, Miles.
Well, that went Interesting. Okay, model husband achievement. Now I'm asleep again in my chair.
Fordham, wake up.
Oh.
Huh? He just leapt over the side. I don't... Oh, Upton. What's going on?
Goodness, Fordham. You look terrible. Is everything all right?
Just had some trouble sleeping. More than usual.
Well, I hope you've rested enough, because I've got something very important to show you.
Oh, really?
Wonderful. If we're sharing information now, are you going to tell Upton about me as well?
What is it?
There's been a murder.
Is there anything special about this one?
I assume this one is special somehow, or you wouldn't be bringing it to me.
I thought that great detectives never assumed.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Anyway, you're right. The victim in question is a member of Parliament, a man named Percival McDonough, to be precise. But this is the real corker. The murder is clearly the work of the Justice Killer.
You mean the mass murderer I've been hearing about?
The Justice Killer? Is that the mass murderer I've been hearing about?
The very same.
Why Justice Killer, though?
It's part of his modus operandi. He kills his victims with a single gunshot to the head, then writes the word justice somewhere in the room with the victim's blood.
Talk about melodramatic.
The police are stumped. This is the killer's 5th victim, and there isn't a single lead.
So you want me to investigate?
Not just yet. First, I need you to look at these sketches.
Are these crime scene sketches?
You took crime scene sketches from the department?
Of course not. I made copies with the station's Pharaoh duplicator. These killings need to stop, and I believe you can succeed where the department has so far failed.
So, what am I looking for?
The police went over each crime scene with a fine-toothed comb and turned up practically no useful physical evidence. I want a second opinion from you. If you can find some sort of link between them, it might be possible to track this monster down.
I will do
It's a shot
my
in the dark.
very best.
I can't guarantee I'll find anything that the police didn't see, but it's worth a look.
Here are the 4 sketches. Have a look at them and see if you notice anything that might help us find this maniac.
Okay, let's start with the police sketch on the left. So left to right. Justice. Dead guy.
If only you hadn't told Adelaide about me, I might share my thoughts with you. As it is, you're on your own. If only you hadn't... Whoever drew this was a hack. That looks more like a piece of toast than a flower.
Maybe it is a piece of toast. And that's all.
If only you hadn't... What's the point? It's not like you're actually going to be able to investigate this case.
Because I told Adelaide he's not helping at all, is he?
I don't feel like looking at dead bodies right now. Is there something more exciting we could be doing? I'm sure this is terribly relevant, but I've got nothing to say about it.
Hello?
Oh, were you hoping for some witty insight? Shame, because you're not getting any.
That flower looks the same. And there's one here too.
I'm really not in the mood to be analyzing crime scene sketches right now. Yeah, he's dead. Big deal. Boring.
This guy's really getting on my nerves.
Maybe you should write crazy over your bed. Wait, what's that? I see an important clue. Just kidding.
I see an important clue right there.
Boring, just like everything else in this sketch.
Interesting.
Oh, what? You actually found something without my help? I'm shocked.
I did indeed find something without your fucking help, you chatty fucker.
Upton?
What is it, Fordham?
I found something.
About those crime scene sketches.
Yes?
I think I found a connection.
I knew you would. What is it?
Flowers at each scene.
There's a single flower at each crime scene. They look deliberately placed.
There is? Let me have a look. You're right. 1 lily at each scene.
Wait, what did you say?
These flowers, they're lilies. Easter lilies, I think.
I don't believe it.
Upton, this is incredible. This is the lead I've been searching for.
What? You mean for another case?
The flower shop burglar. He was stealing Easter lilies. And I distinctly remember him saying something about his desire to uphold justice. At the time, I thought it was just the rambling of a lunatic, but now it seems so
Are we
obvious.
actually getting closer
So
now?
the flower shop burglar is the justice killer?
It seems too much of a coincidence otherwise.
Well, then that's wonderful. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Excellent work, Fordham. I knew you could do it.
What exactly are the details regarding this justice killer?
The killings began a few months ago, and so far he's claimed 5 victims. The department wanted to keep this information out of the public eye to prevent a panic, but word has gotten out. On the bright side, it makes your involvement in the case much less suspicious.
Right, let's ask about the previous victims.
What can you tell me about the previous victims?
4 men from Chumley: Hannibal Kirkland, Reggie Willingham, Ennis Bowditch, and Burley Cause. No known connection between any of them aside from the borough they lived in. I have copies of the police reports from each of the crime scenes. Go ahead and take them.
Thank you, Upton.
And then tell me about the most recent victim.
What are the details regarding the killer's latest victim?
As I mentioned, the victim is Percival McDonough, a member of Parliament. He was found this morning by his secretary in his office. I expect the official investigation is still underway.
So the killer managed to get into the Houses of Parliament. No easy feat.
You can say that again. It's the killer's first high-profile victim. It means he's getting bolder.
I suppose I'll have to drop by and see for myself.
Like they're gonna let me into Parliament. Seriously.
I should get back to it.
Not a bad idea.
Right. I think I have enough information to get started. I think I'll begin with...
Odd. I wasn't expecting company. Chief Snelling?
Uh-oh.
Upton, we need to talk. Fordham, I should have guessed I'd find you here.
Chief Snelling, what a pleasant surprise. You're the last person I expected to see today. Shouldn't you be out trying to catch the justice killer?
Ah, Chief Snelling. What a pleasant surprise.
I'm equally pleased to see you, Fordham. Although, having you here does save me a bit of trouble.
Trouble?
Those are some rather interesting decorations. Would either of you care to explain how they got here?
And once again, the jig is up. I hope you can talk your way out of this one,
I
too.
can talk my way out of everything. I took the sketches from the police department myself. I asked Upton to get those sketches for me. I told Upton it was wrong to take those sketches.
I brought them here, after I made duplicates and took them from the police department.
Nice try, Fordham, but I know for a fact that isn't true.
Rats.
The Ferro Duplicator makes a report of every employee who uses it, as well as what was copied. A rather useful feature for instances such as these. Wouldn't you agree?
These gadgets are going to be the undoing of us all.
In any case, I did some digging and discovered some intriguing information. Upton, why have you been passing on classified police information to Mr. Fordham?
Because I'm a better fucking detective than
He's the
you.
best detective you ever had on the force, and
Exactly.
you know it.
Is that right? Personally, I don't consider getting your partner killed the mark of a great detective.
I didn't get him killed.
But what's
I
done
killed
is
him.
done. Constance Upton, your employment with the New Britannia Police Department is hereby terminated.
But
I should add that it's only because of your 25 years of dedicated service that I'm not pressing charges against you. But as for you, Fordham, I have enough evidence to place you under arrest for obstruction of justice and interfering with police investigations. Do you have anything to say in your defense?
But I've been solving
before I
them
take
for
in
you.
for questioning.
I know who the justice
Yes,
killer is.
as a matter of fact, I do. I know who the justice killer is.
Fordham, if this is your idea of a diversion...
It's true. I found a link in the sketches of the crime scenes.
All right, let's hear it then. What do you think you found?
I'll tell you if you promise to let me take the case.
Out of the question, Fordham. This is a police matter.
And the police haven't made progress in months. Fordham figured it out in a matter of minutes. Admit it, Snelling. Fordham is your best shot at finding the killer. Are you gonna let your personal differences put the people of this city in danger?
Fine. I'll let you continue to operate as an assistant in this case, if you have actually found something of value. Now, what is this link?
He leaves a single Easter lily at each crime scene. The same type of flowers the burglar and the chum was stealing.
I see. A tenuous link, but plausible.
Yeah, damn right, it's
I'll give you
plausible.
until tomorrow afternoon. If you haven't come up with anything, I'm throwing you in jail.
Sounds fair to me.
And don't get any clever ideas about leaving town either.
Why would I leave town?
Would I do something like that?
I want to find
Fordham,
the killer.
it seems there's no telling what you might do. I'm probably a fool for not clapping you in irons right here and now. When you have something to report, come find me in my office. Don't make me regret this.
Well, that went better than I expected.
Except you're still fired. I didn't have a chance to get him to change his mind.
We'll worry about that after you catch the killer. In the meantime, I could use a drink. I'll see you later, Fordham.
She goes
Well,
out.
better
for
get
a
to
drink.
work then.
Doesn't get one from
Clock
the
is
kitchen
ticking.
or anything. Right, I've looked at the sketches.
There hasn't been much need for umbrellas lately.
Let's have a look at my clues and where I can go. So I can go to the police station or the Houses of Parliament, which is the current crime scene. There's no doubt that the serial murderer known as the Justice Killer and the flower shop burglar are one and the same. It's time to track him down and bring him to justice. Find the Justice Killer, investigate Percival McDonough's office at the Houses of Parliament. I have no clues, no suspects, but I have the police reports. Victim, Hannibal Kirkland, age 32, cause of death. Single gunshot to the head, occupation ironworker at Thorbum Ironworks, Chumley. Summary. Police found Kirkland in his home after his foreman reported Kirkland's absence from work. Apart from the word justice written in blood, nothing unusual was found at the crime scene and no witnesses came forward. Investigation into Kirkland's personal life, and habits revealed nothing of interest. Reggie Willingham, age 47, cause of death, single gunshot to the head, occupation cabbie for Coulson's Cabs. Police found Willingham in his home after a missing persons report was filed by his employer. So wait, reported absence from work, missing person by his employer. But aside from the word justice written on the wall in blood, nothing unusual was found. No witnesses came forward and an investigation into personal life and habits revealed nothing of interest. Ennis Bowditch, construction worker at Gascon Chumley Bridge. Police found Bowditch in his home after his employer contacted police. Crime scene showed sign of modus operandi of so-called justice killer, but no other leads or clues were found, no witnesses, etc., etc. Lamplighter working from Central Lamp Depot, Worcester. Officer Douglas Parsons discovered cause in his home after a report of a gunshot made by a neighbour, Ethel Williamson. Parsons surveyed the scene and found the word justice written in blood. No other leads or clues. Investigation. No further clues or leads. Okay. The first three then were reported as not turning up for work. That could be important.
Fordham, what brings you to this delightful spectacle?
Hello, Edwards. I'm investigating the Justice Killer. I believe I've got a very promising lead.
I heard an officer mention new orders from Snelling, but I thought he was just pulling my leg. Feel free to have a look around. I'm just writing up the notes from my initial examination of the body, so I'll be happy to share my findings.
Good. I'll just get started then.
Looks pretty fresh. I wonder what the killer uses to write with.
Blood. He uses blood.
Nothing but a bunch of boring documents. You'd think he could have at least been considerate enough to keep something scandalous in here. Nothing but a bunch. These appear to be books on cryptography. I suppose everyone needs a hobby. History books and political theory. I might die of boredom. Again. Biographies and autobiographies. Dull, dull, dull. History books and political theory. I might die of... Leave it to a politician to hang a portrait of himself in his own office.
Can't look at them. Look at his calendar. Was he scheduled to meet anyone?
Nothing has been written in yet for next month. Curious. Odd. The page for this month has been torn out. Do you suppose Edwards might know anything about that? Nothing has been written.
Guess we can ask him.
Got a moment, Edwards?
Of course. What's on your mind?
Actually,
That's all for now, Edwards.
I'll come back to
Good
it.
luck with your investigation.
Let me do the last bit, which is to actually look at the body.
The former Percival McDonough, being a good politician. The former Percival...
Got a moment,
Not
Edwards?
much the body can show me then.
Of course.
Edwards
What's on
might
your
be able
mind?
to help.
So, what was found at the crime scene?
A dead body.
Edwards.
Hey, just trying to lighten the mood a bit. Anyway, there was also the word justice written in blood, as you can see on the floor there.
Is that all?
What more do you need? All the pieces are in place. This is the work of the justice killer.
Or is it? Because where is the Easter lily?
Did you find an Easter lily anywhere?
An Easter lily?
Yes. The justice killer leaves one at every crime scene.
Is that right? I never noticed.
Neither did anyone else, apparently.
So how does leaving a lily at the scene of the crime figure into all of this?
I'm still trying to figure that out, but I think it might be important to understanding his motive.
Well, be sure to let me know if you do figure it out. The thought process of killers is a twisted, curious thing.
What did your examination of the body turn up?
Apparent cause of death was a single gunshot to the head, exactly like all the other victims. The bullet is still lodged in his brain. I'll remove it once I transport the body back to the mortuary.
Anything else?
No personal effects of note, just a folded up piece of paper in his breast pocket. It's blank, so the police weren't interested. I assume you aren't either.
Never assume, Edwards.
Yeah,
I'll take it if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
Did the police manage to learn anything during their investigation?
Not much beyond what I've already told you. I think they were planning on speaking to the victim's wife, though.
Did you get the address?
I did, as a matter of fact. 1820 Kent Place.
Now we get to deal with the grieving widow. Hopefully the officers who delivered the news got the worst of it.
Alright, let's ask him about the calendar.
Edwards, did you notice McDonough's desk calendar?
I did. This month has been torn out. I asked the officers investigating the scene, and they had no idea what happened to it.
So it wasn't found in this room?
That's right. My theory is that the killer took it.
Which means there was probably something incriminating written on it. If only there was some way of knowing what it was.
Miles, have you forgotten the oldest trick in the book? Just find a pencil and you'll have that information in no time.
Edwards, do you have a pencil I might borrow?
Of course. Take this one.
Of course he does. He's a doctor. Of course he's carrying a pencil.
What's your take on this whole justice killer situation?
It's giving me a lot of extra work, let me tell you. We haven't had a serial murderer in a long time. Not since that fellow who was poisoning people about 10 years ago.
Ah, yes. Gascon Ghoul. Now there was a case.
Any theories or insights regarding the killer's motive or identity?
That's not really my specialty. If you want to get into that psychology stuff, you're better off talking to someone like Snelling.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
That's all for now,
Snelling.
Edwards.
Not for
Good luck
now,
with your
anyway.
investigation.
Right, so let's have a look at the calendar, because I have my...
Classic trick.
My pencil.
Let's see if it works.
The old rubbing. Which so far is getting nothing. There's something there. Nothing in any of these. Oh, October was quiet. Well, how much do I have to do? before it says I'm done. I'm done now. There we go.
Intriguing. We'll need to find out who this Ruby is. Aha! McDonough met with this person the night of the murder. I'll bet 500 crowns it's a false name, but at least it's something. It seems the killer didn't want anyone to know about this meeting with McDonough, and possibly not with Ruby either.
Right. Let's
Got a
see
moment,
if
Edwards?
Edwards knows anything about
Of
either of
course.
those
What's
two
on your mind?
names. No, he
That's all
doesn't.
for now, Edwards.
Good luck with your investigation.
Right, we need to find out who this T. Shockley is. So I've now got the bridge construction site, ironworks, the lamp depot, the residence, cab depot. These are for the 4 previous victims. Go talk to the widow first. No, let's actually do the background stuff.
Well, that doesn't look good. Well, that doesn't look good. This place sure is big. I wonder if they actually
To
make
the
anything
employee
useful.
area. Don't do that just yet. Let's talk to the old guy.
Excuse me, sir. Are you in charge here?
Unfortunately, who are you? This area isn't open to the public.
I'm Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator looking into the murder of one of your workers.
A private investigator, eh? And maybe you can help me out.
I'll do what I can, but I'll need to ask you some questions, Mr.
Mims. Sanford Mims. Go ahead, but make it snappy.
I wanted to ask you about Hannibal Kirkland.
Can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland? A former employee here?
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind right now.
I understand, but it's important to my investigation that you tell me what you know about him.
I'm sure it is, but as you can see, I've got a lot to deal with right now.
Well, he's no help. Maybe you can figure out a way to help him help us.
Alright.
What happened to your iron mill?
What's it look like? The damn thing went and got blown up.
Was it in disrepair?
Of course not. All my machinery is sound, checked and serviced regularly. This is the work of those goddamn Redites. I'm sure of it.
You
What
want
makes you
some
certain the
help
explosion was
with
the
that?
Redites doing?
Fair enough.
Take a look, boy. The whole mill got taken out. Even if this had been a mechanical failure, which it wasn't, the explosion would have been contained to a single part of the machine. This couldn't have been anything other than sabotage.
Have you had problems with the Redites before?
They've sent anonymous letters, but this is the first time they've actually carried out one of their threats.
Alright, so
You're
how,
absolutely sure
how do you
this was
actually
sabotage,
want me to help you?
Yes. How many times have I got to tell you that? Listen, you said you were an investigator, right? So find out who did this to my machine. If you do, I'll help you out with whatever else you wanted to ask me about.
Looks like we haven't got much of a choice. He seems pretty upset about his machine.
I'll see what I can do.
Right. In that
I'll be going
case,
now.
I'll be
careful
going
on your way
to
out.
look up what stuff is wrong with your machine.
Hey, that area is for workers only.
My apologies.
And let's ask
Mr.
him the rest
Mills,
of the questions.
A word, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, what is it?
How long have you been the foreman here?
Sometimes I think it's been too long. Things were so much easier before we got these machines. They keep saying they're supposed to improve our lives, but they've been nothing but trouble. I've already had 5 of my best men get mangled by some of them. And then there's these damn fools blowing things up. My hair wasn't this gray 5 years ago, you know. I swear one of these days, I'm just going to pack it all up and retire. Let someone else deal with these damn things.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
I'll ask him the
Who?
He's
questions,
a
but I
serial
don't
murderer
think he
who's
knows
killed 5
anything.
men over the past 4 months.
Is that right? Never heard of him.
He may have killed one of your men. Weren't the police here asking about it?
Oh, is that what that was all about? I know they came poking around here a while back, but I was busy dealing with other things.
It's nice to see the lines of communication here are wide open.
Are you sure you can't tell me anything about Hannibal Kirkland?
It's like I've told you. I've got to deal with this mess. I don't have time for your questions.
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out.
Alright, so Hannibal Kirkland. Do I find out who sabotaged the iron mill at Thornbum Ironworks? Right, I'm actually going to end it a bit early tonight. I've been working late, the late shift. I get kind of tired. We're not going to call it election night. We're going to call it the Easter Lily Burglar. I think maybe without the capital U. I've sort of forgotten how to spell burglar for a moment there. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits for the night. I'm going to go and have a nice cup of tea with the wife, relax. Maybe carry on with this on Wednesday. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, thank you. Toodles, have a good evening. I'll see you all again next time. Nothing happened when I pressed the button. I'll try again.